Alright, what's up guys? In this video, we're going to pick up some calculus here. We're going to do another integration practice video. So I'm going to evaluate this definite integral from 1 to e squared. We got x squared times the natural logarithm of x dx. So what you want to do for this is apply integration by parts. That's the first thing you'll need to do to start this integral. So remember, that's the integral of u dv is equal to uv minus the integral of v du. I am aware that this is a definite integral, but this is the formula for integration by parts. So the process is to find a u and a dv. The best selection for u here would be the natural logarithm of x, and then that means that dv will be everything else. So dv would be x squared dx. And the reason why we want u to be the natural logarithm of x, because remember, if we let dv be the natural logarithm of x, well, to get v, we would have to integrate dv. Integrating the natural logarithm of x requires integration by parts. So it's not hard, but it requires a little bit more work than we want to do. So it's much easier to differentiate it than integrate it. So taking the derivative of the natural logarithm of x just gives us 1 over x dx, and then integrating x squared dx is going to give us x cubed over 3. So we've taken care of the selection process. And so now I'm going to write my left hand side over here as 1/3 x cubed times the natural logarithm of x. And normally I don't write it out, but in this case I will, just to show you what happens. So we'll have the minus the integral of v du, so that means that we'll have x cubed over 3 multiplied by 1 over x dx. And obviously we can see that if we cross multiply here, that one of the x's will end up dropping out. So we'll have 1/3 x cubed times the natural logarithm of x. I'm going to pull out a 1/3, and then that means I'll be integrating x squared dx, and again this is going to be from 1 to e squared. So now we take care of our integral on the inside, and if we do that, then we'll have again 1/3 x cubed times the natural logarithm of x. I have my minus 1/3 on the outside. So in here, I would just integrate, get x cubed over 3. We would multiply by negative 1/3 after we've gotten x cubed over 3. And we'll basically get negative x cubed over 9, which I can factor out a minus 1 over 9. Oh, I can factor out a 1/9 or 1 over 9. And then I'll just have my x cubed right here, and this will be from 1 to e squared. Okay, so that's what you should have after running through the process. Now the limits of integration are from 1 to e squared. Part 2 of the fundamental theorem of calculus tells us that the upper limit gets subbed in first, and we'll subtract that away from what we get when we plug in the lower one. Now students oftentimes will get a little bit confused when the limits of integration aren't actually numbers. E in math is a number, so e squared is actually a number. But one thing that's important to remember about integrals, and you'll see this once you get into multivariable calculus, you start doing double integrals and triple integrals, that your limits of integration don't always have to be numbers. Again, e squared is a number, but they don't always have to be, so just be aware of that. Oftentimes as well, students will get a little lazy, and they'll try to do the direct substitutions in their head, and sometimes it's good to write stuff out sometimes so that it makes it a little easier to see what's going on. So it's okay to write things out from time to time to make sure you're all good. All right, and so this is what we get if we sub in the e squared. Then we'll subtract that away from whatever we'll get when we sub in the 1. So in this case, this would be minus 1/3 1 cubed times the natural logarithm of 1, which we know is 0, but I'm still going to write it out anyway, This is minus 1 over 9. And again, it's going to be 1 cubed. And this is how we write it out. So over here, okay, well, looks like we'll get 5. That'll be 5e to the 6 over 9. Because 2 times 3 is 6. And then we'll subtract that away. Now when we sub in the 1, again, keep in mind, since the natural logarithm of 1 is 0, this whole side over here will basically go to 0. And then we'll just have our 1 cubed over here. There is a minus 1/9, or 1 over 9. So this is actually minus 1 over 9. That's 2 negatives. That's a double negative. So this is going to be 5e to the 6th over 9. And this is going to change to a positive 1 over 9. You can combine the denominators if you want to, since they're the same, and write your answer as 5e to the 6 plus 1 over 9, or you can leave it that way. And so that would actually be the answer for this. So your final answer for this integral here, we're asked to deal with the integral from 1 to e squared. We got x squared times the natural logarithm of x dx. To the answer to this is just going to be 5e to the 6th power plus 1 all over 9. And that's the solution. So let me circle that for you. Alright, so as you can see, this one wasn't too bad. Just need to be a little careful. Make sure you write out things. Sometimes it does help. Alright, so that's the answer. So if you guys got any questions about how I arrived there, please let me know. I'll see you guys next time. Y'all take care.